I don't think we'll get a second chance at this. We pull this off, we can save the Traveler. If not, the Vex will seize our worlds. Charged. Let's head for the gate.
Let's do it. What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, and welcoming you back to more Let's Play Destiny. In the last episode, we finished off the Garden Spire mission, defeating a Primus in the battle for it all, in the battle to get the Gate Lord's Eye charged. And now we are heading to the gate itself to hopefully get on into the Black Garden. So, it is time I talk about a lot more about the Vex. I kind of want to give a little bit more of a backstory on what's going on with them and what they do. Not necessarily who they are, I've kind of already explained that, but how the city relates to them and what we have against them. So, like we said, the Vex, they basically have the ability to manipulate time. They can unmake and make anything at will with absolutely nothing challenging them. They control time, and the only way to stop them from destroying everything basically is to control time ourselves. In fact, that's actually one of the big reasons the future war cult exists. We've talked about them earlier, and also yes, I have a sniper rifle now. This is a much higher light than my fusion rifle was, but anyway, it's actually a big part of what the future war cult is all about. They want to control time in an effort to save the city that way, possibly to even restore the Golden Age. All those things. They want to use time to make our lives better. And it's a noble goal, to be fair, especially considering what time has kind of done to us and what it's done to everyone else. Now, the thing is the Vex can't just... They won't just do anything. They won't just immediately be like, okay, that thing needs to die. Everything is calculated with them. Everything happens through algorithms. They calculate things millions and millions of times over in milliseconds just to make sure that it is the correct decision to make. And so you're not going to just see the Vex going, well, these Guardians are a nuisance, so let's just unmake them and then we'll never have to deal with them again. Because they can't. They can't just mess with time easily, because yes, while they do control time, they can only do so much with time before they end up actually hurting themselves in the process. This Hydra is... I'm guessing there's a lot of lag going on with the people around me, otherwise they wouldn't be surviving like that and requiring me to do so much extra damage to them. But anyway, again, it's all algorithms. It's all a sequence of numbers, of mathematics that they have to run through in their heads before they're ever able to make a decision of such nature. Let's head on into the gate. Here we go. All right. So,
where are we? If this is the Black Garden, it's not on any map of known space and time. I guess we just keep going?
Which we will do that, but if you take a look around, you can see there's actually a lot of growth here, which is incredibly interesting. Very old-looking place, don't you think? Well, the Vex are, as far as I know, the most ancient of all of the creatures we've ever encountered in Destiny. They are limitless. They are timeless. They exist in every single facet of time because of their ability to make and unmake time. Now, like we said, the future war cult have the ideal that we need to use time to save ourselves. Well, they aren't the only ones with that ideal. There are plenty of Guardians that have had similar feelings. Osiris is actually one of those. He has studied the Vex quite a lot, much like how Toland and Eris have heavily studied the Hive. He has heavily studied the Vex, and is part of the reason why he was banished from the city, because the Speaker was not very happy with his ideals. However, he was a lot more extreme than somebody like the Future War Cult. So, there were also other Guardians, such as Praedyth, such as Kabir, who had these same fears, these same doubts. Now, granted, they weren't out to learn the secrets of the Vex, they were just out to destroy them. So, on Venus, as you probably remember, there is a certain door that leads to a place called the Vault of Glass. Now, the Vault of Glass is where basically the Vex are able to run all of their operations. It is where they are able to make and unmake time. It is where they are able to because it is a place that exists outside of time. It is a place that just exists. There is no rules governing it other than the rules that the Vex and whoever else is within make them, and that was a huge waste of ammo. Only the inhabitants of the Vault of Glass are allowed to make the rules therein. Nothing else governs it, which is kind of freaky to think about. Think of time as just think of it as an infinite number of lines, okay? An infinite number of lines stringing across, all running parallel to one another, but not actually intersecting ever at any one time. These are all of the infinite possible universes, okay? Now, to the far side of that, anywhere near those lines, in an untapped void of space, is the Vault of Glass. That's where it is. Does it have its own timeline? We actually don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But what we do know is that it is the one thing that is able to intersect all of these time streams. It's the one thing that is able to weave through them, to cut them in half, to bend them in any way it wants. And only, again, like we said, the inhabitants therein can decide what happens, including the time's conflux, which is known as Atheon. Atheon is the Vex's he is the Vex's harbinger of time. He is the one who is able to control everything that happens in the Vault of Glass above all else. He is actually less a god and more just a tool, an all-powerful tool for controlling the time streams. And he's kind of a terrifying being as a result. The only way to defeat time's conflux is by messing with time itself, which is what Kabir and Praedyth and the other members of that fire team tried to do when they headed into the Vault of Glass the first time. However, because they had no knowledge of what they were in for, they were pretty easily destroyed. In fact, one by one, every single one of them was killed, save for one, but we'll get into them a little bit later. Save for one. At least immediately, all of them were done away with. There was one, which was actually the fire team's leader, Kabir, who stood fast, who, well, as far as we know, died, but also never really fell. We know that he uncovered the secrets of the Vex. We know that he was able to actually use a lot of their own tools against them. And it is a very popular belief that the relic that is present inside of the Vault of Glass, the relic that we use to defeat the Gatekeeper, to defeat Atheon, to defeat everyone inside the Vault of Glass, is, as far as we know, that it's of Kabir's make. He used Vex technology to create a relic that can actually turn their own methods against them. Now, where is Kabir? We don't know. We don't know if he eventually was lost in time. We don't know if Kabir's light is what makes up the relic. In his dying breath, if he was able to create the relic before he was lost forever in the annals of time, only as a memory thanks to our records, not because he ever actually existed. Which is, again, kind of a scary thing to think about, to think that something can just be stricken from time as if it never existed. That's just what the Vex do, which is, I think, in a lot of ways, so much more terrifying than anything else that any other enemy we've ever seen is capable of. The Fallen, they can put a blade through your back, and they can twist it, alright? That hurts. The Hive, they can feast off of you. Not just you, but your light. They can literally consume you and eat you. The Cabal, well, they can just straight up blow you up. But the Vex, they can not just destroy you, but they can destroy everything about you. They can destroy any possible memory of you, if they so desire. And they can basically, like I said, pretend, they can make it so you never existed, and it's true. It's a fact. It's just how reality is according to the Vex. And that's kind of, again, a very terrifying thought. Now, thankfully, in the Vault of Glass, we were able to use that technology that we think Kabir created in an effort to eventually destroy the Vex.
Just beyond here.
which we did.
This place is
First-
just one big machine.
First things
Close to the
first,
clusters.
we made it to the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper who basically decides whether or not we are able to make it to Atheon, and who decides whether or not we are allowed to proceed through the Vault of Glass. Without him, we cannot go any further. He is the Vex's first line of defense. And, well, he is the first one that is able to basically unmake things through time. He uses the power of things known as oracles. They literally are just vessels that completely undo things. They completely erase it from history. However, using the relic and using our knowledge and knowing how to destroy the oracles, we were able to defeat the gatekeeper. And from that point on, we were able to move on to the Gorgon's Maze. Now, the Gorgons are another terrifying being. They are like harpies, and that was a terrible throw. Very similar to harpies. They are, again, able to just kind of erase things, and they are practically unkillable on their own. Even a full fire team of Guardians would need to use all of its strongest weapons just to kill one of them. And upon just killing one of them, they all collectively grow stronger. Their gaze is what erases things from time.
It's working.
Again, very terrifying. In fact, really the only way that they can be defeated is to be avoided entirely. Gorgons are just that scary. They can be defeated, but it's just not worth the effort. They are just too strong. So, once we make it past the Gorgons, and then we make it through the last of the pitfalls, quote-unquote, that the Vault of Glass has for us, we come face-to-face with Atheon, and we have to have a battle against him using, well, time to his advantage. We have to travel into different time streams in order to destroy the oracles that he also uses to unmake us from time. And then upon doing so, well, we're victorious. We've essentially defeated the Vex. We've crippled their ability to control time. That's what we did in the Vault of Glass. But that doesn't necessarily defeat the Vex as a whole. Because there's so much more to the Vex than that. While there is basically, I guess you could call it their super weapon, is one thing you could call the Vault of Glass. It definitely, doesn't take them down as a force. Not quite. They still have a god. They still have things that control their actions, their motivations. If you could call it motivations, considering they are just, what are essentially androids. They are not really thinking beings. On their own, they are just one giant collective mind.
All we need is permission to enter as a gate lord.
Indeed. We're essentially impersonating one at the moment. The Vex get pretty darn scary, I'm not going to lie. But there's also a lot more to it. Now, the funny thing is the Vault of Glass, the whole reason we even know about it, is actually thanks to Crota. As odd as that might sound, yes, it is all Crota's fault. And also was Crota's own undoing. He is basically the ones who kind of let the Vex into our realm. He broke in and opened the Vault of Glass, which crippled the Hive forces, but also made them available to us. So you can actually thank Crota for that. That's actually one good thing he did, and also one of the reasons his father banished him, because he said, well, you done screwed up. The Vex are very scary, and you brought them here. You brought us competition. You idiot. Go fix it. That's basically what happened with Crota. Anyways. We talked about the super weapon, but we also talked about the gods. That is their god.
So, think you can kill a god?
Don't think I have a choice.
And so it begins, the heart of the Black Garden. And of course the Vex are going to come up here to try to meet us, so we're going to want to jump down as fast as possible because we do not want to fight them on that tiny platform. That was silly. I did not mean to do that. There we go. Alright. Doing good so far. Who's left? You're left. Actually landing a lot of my snipes right now, which is kind of funny. Except for that one. And snipers are just so darn powerful. Just killing everything. Alright, there we go. I think that's enough special ammo. I actually kind of want to save it because things are about to get a little bit crazy up in here. Okay. Here it goes. Actually, I do not want to stand on this side. Not over here. I want to stand on the opposite end of the room. So,
The heart is bringing that statue to life.
that's the thing about the Vex, is all of the creatures that we fight, the goblins, the hobgoblins, the minotaurs, they are all vessels for doing the god's bidding. And this thing is no exception. The Eschaton Mine, here we go. Alright, so if I could actually land my crits, that would be awesome. There we go, that's what I want to do. Perfect. Alright, so I need to get some more special ammo back. My super, honestly, isn't going to do a whole lot because the Sunsinger subclass is not really a huge damage-dealing super. If I could just get some special, that would be awesome. Just stand right there, buddy. No, stand... Oh, you're supposed to stand right there. Alright, that's fine. I'm going to get my flame shield out of this guy. There we go. Keep trying to melee me, buddy. Come on, keep trying. There you go. Doing good, doing good. You got him yet? It's got to be close. There we go. Perfect. Oh, and I got some orbs of light out of that. I'll take it.
The heart is dying. Keep fighting them.
Alright, so now I want to head to the opposite end of the room because then the one on this side is going to spawn and then that will be last. Whew. We're going to kill you, you know. That's the thing, though, is when it comes to these mines, it's actually pouring its essence into these. It's not just telling them to do its bidding. It is actually willingly draining its life force into these statues and using them as vessels to kill us. It's kind of a last-ditch effort, if you couldn't tell. Now, the interesting thing is actually the designs of a lot of these mines. So the first one we saw was clearly based off of a basic Minotaur, very similar to that Gate Lord we fought. But this one is actually known as a more ancient-looking design to it. And by that, I mean there is actually an ancient form of the Vex that we will be fighting actually at a later time that is what this one is more like, the Imminent Mind. Which is interesting, because like we said, the Vex kind of don't really exist in time, but yet they can have older models, as it were. Which, when you think about that, you go, okay, how does that work? Have they actually inserted themselves into all aspects of time, or did they actually exist in the past at one point, and then eventually develop this technology, you know? How does that all work? It's all a little bit confusing, but there's a lot of Destiny storyline does have to do with the manipulation of time and stuff, so it'll all make sense as we go throughout the story even further. Is there any special that you guys dropped? No? Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. Do not kill me. Do not kill me. Do not kill me. Woo! That was actually too close. I let myself get hit too much. Alright. And for this last one, I'm going to use one of my heavy ammo synths. Here we go. The final ditch effort from the heart of the Black Garden. Do it. Here we go. As you can see, this thing is corrupted with all sorts of darkness. It actually has the essence of the heart all around it. A primeval mind. Actually hitting it. There we go. Okay, I gotta stay clear of this one. Its shots hurt bad. But they're very slow moving, so if I can avoid this thing, it won't actually be able to do a lot of damage to me, or any damage to me at all, except for maybe splash damage. And I've almost got my super here. Here we go. Come here, you. Burn, 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 burn. Move! Got it.
We're back on Mars. The Shroud of Darkness is lifting, and light returns to the Traveler. The speaker is calling us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. That is it for the vanilla storyline of Destiny. Now, there is more. There is more to be done. But as far as the main story goes, we have freed the Traveler from the clutches of the Vex. For now. The Vault of Glass has been taken down. Or I guess you could say closed. The Black Garden has been defeated. And now, it's time to go home.
For centuries we feared the forces of darkness massing against us. We sought to hide and cower beneath a broken god. No more. These guardians show us what we are, what we have always been, and what we will be again. We are what remains of the light, and we will not be stamped out.
It's a day for pretty speeches and medals. But we know the real fight takes place out there. Take this. There's so much more, Guardian. I've seen terrible things born out in the darkness. Every moment brings them closer. All ends are beginnings. Our fight is far from over.